You know, we're here tonight at the exhibition of the photographs that Gary Oldman actually took on the set. And first of all, not many people really knew he'd taken photographs. And so that's quite interesting to see. And there's one picture where they're standing in a bunker, like it's a very solid wall with lots of little heads around the top. I think that's very interesting. And then, of course, in addition to that, I took photographs of Gary himself as well, which were used in various publications. So, all in all, it's been a really nice association, really. Yeah, I mean, through the nice relationship that we've had with the whole production team and direction team of the film, it was discussed that maybe we would make some limited edition posters that reflected the film, and so I've designed 4 posters which are very linked to the film. If you see the film, it will make sense. They're signposted by me, and there's 50 of each, and they've already almost all sold out, which has been really good. And then in addition to that, I've designed the cover of a limited edition 250 copies of the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy book by John le Carré, and he's signed all the copies, and they're all numbered, and that's got an exclusive cover and inner. So, and the proceeds are going to go to Maggie's cancer charity. So it's a very nice thing to do, really. The posters are very lovely because they're all hand screen printed, so very special.
Many years ago, I worked with Jeff Bridges, who shoots with a similar camera. And I was fascinated by this thing called a wide lux. And it's a panoramic camera, a film camera, and it works on this sort of it's like a barrel, it's like a cylinder. And it rotates. You hit the shutter, and then it rotates. So it's that's its shutter mechanism. And I just loved the camera, and thought, really, I'd like to get me one of those. And then I picked one up and started sort of playing with it, and had, the courage to sort of. I worked on a book, the Hughes Brothers movie called The Book of Eli, and I worked out in New Mexico, and it was all post-apocalyptic, and I took some photographs. I must have taken about 500 pictures on that movie, and they came out rather well, and the guy who was printing them in Los Angeles said, "You should do a book, or you should do an exhibition." He said, "You're better than some of the so-called professionals that I work with." He said, "You've got a good eye," and so that hasn't happened yet. But when I came to Tinker Tailor, I asked Thomas if it would be okay for me to just sort of take some pictures on the set while we were working, and he said, "Yeah, sure." And it was we were working in very low light. So what's exciting is that because it's film, you can't reset. It doesn't have fancy settings like this Canon. I mean, you could shoot in a candlelit room, couldn't you? You adjust the stop, right? The wide lux has 3 settings, and it's very primitive. So the excitement is getting the next back and seeing if you've got an image. There's one in there actually of our of the stills photographer who took the portraits, Jack English, and there's the one where he's holding up the light meter to the light. I mean, that was just complete luck. It was so dark that I guess the exposure, and I sort of opened it up and got the shot. But yeah, I take great pleasure from it. I love doing it. This one on the wall here is my favourite. There's one here of the workers back in the conference room, and it just caught John. I was behind John, looking back at me. But the reason I like it is that Jack English, the stills photographer, is in the way back in the distance. He's in the other corner, shooting, and so that's my favourite. But I must say, it's very nice of Paul to, you know, I mean, I know the movie's opening and we're all excited, but a part of me is it's more chuffed. I'm more chuffed to be here with these photos. You know.
Approached by the director of the film, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, right at the very beginning when he just signed up to do the direction of the film. And his name's Thomas Alfredson, and he came to see me in London in my studio, and he said that he'd been to a talk that I gave in Stockholm, in Sweden, and he said that he liked the way I talked and thought about things, and would I be willing to read the script of the film and maybe talk about, maybe come up with ideas of maybe the level of colour of the film, the feeling of the film, the possible architecture that should be in the film, maybe even things about music or about the type of photography. So it was a very open brief. And it was pretty weird for me because I've never really done anything like that before, and but very exciting thing to do. And so I went away, read the script, and then after about 2 weeks I gave him some feedback on, you know, books of photography that I was interested in that I thought had a really lovely level of colour, or the type of photography which was very in focus, out focus, very moody. And just generally talked about all sorts of things, music, film, camera, and he came to see me several times and then went away and made the film, and as you know, it's had amazing reviews, and when I saw the film I was quite gently pleased, because I could absolutely see really strong influences from my initial meetings, and seeing Thomas tonight, and I've not seen him since the premiere, he said absolutely there were lots of ingredients, so it was quite an honour.